Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. All right, so we are all done with Muckross House and we are moving on, but we still have one more video to do, one more layout to do for Killarney National Park. And this is our visit to the Torc Waterfall. So if you are familiar with Killarney National Park, maybe you've been to the Torc Waterfall. We sort of resolved our little jaunt through the forest at this point. And when we got off, they said there's a waterfall you can hike to. So several of us took the journey and hiked up to see the waterfall. And some of us just took the opportunity to keep our feet on the ground and enjoy each other's company. But there was a really pretty stream and we got some really beautiful pictures. So I hope you enjoy those. You'll get to see those in this layout. This video also covers layouts number 1 and 2, or sketches number 1 and 2 for March of 2025 and the virtual crop sketches. So that's what we're going to be working on today. I am choosing to put them together and create a 2-page layout using Sketch 1 and Sketch 2. So I hope this is fun for you. I hope this is something you'll enjoy, and let's check out my workspace and we'll get started. All right, so this is my workspace for today. And I am playing catch up again, like I seem to do every now and then. We haven't done any of the March virtual crop sketches, so I am combining crop sketch number 1 and sketch number 2 from the 2025 March virtual crop. And we're going to create a 2-page layout using both of these sketches. So I'm going to change just a couple of things just to let you know right off the bat. We're going to flip-flop these so they'll be in the reverse order. And then I'm also going to take this one and flip it as well. This border that is 12 inches and on the side here just sort of feels like a natural visual break. And this layout we're doing today is the last portion of what we did in Killarney National Park. So I just feel like it's kind of a natural kind of conclusion to that event without coming right out and saying we're done and this is the end of something. It just sort of gives you a little bit of a visual clue that this is kind of the end of this portion of the album. It's by no means the end of the album. We have actually probably a full album and a half of layouts to go in this Ireland series, but if my guesstimation of the number of photos I have left and the number of events I know we have yet to do from our trip are any kind of indicator. Anyways, but getting back to this, so I have pulled several papers that some of them are full sheets, some of them are partial sheets from previous layouts we're going to use today to create these 2 layouts. You can see that this one looks perfect for using up some scraps, and so that's what I'm hoping to do. But we are also going to be making a frame and doing some other things on this particular side of the layout. This side will have a base sheet, and then it has 2 6x6 squares that are used underneath the photos, plus matting, and then the side pieces here that will be flipped, as I said before. I'm going to use my border system, and we're going to use the cable chain border maker cartridge. So if you have this one, you could pull that one out, or any chain border maker cartridge will work with these layouts. So find a chain border maker cartridge. The way you know it's a chain border maker cartridge is if you can flip it over and see that it's not connected here or here. All right, so if it's If it is an edge border maker cartridge, then the metal pieces will go to the bottom here, and you won't be able to, you won't see a gap because it will connect to the paper you're punching from. All right, so it just punches along the edge. Okay, and same thing with a knockout punch. You'll have no gap down here either. All right, so I'm just going to pop that into my cartridge holder for that, and when we get to it, we will go ahead and get those punched. I've got my permanent and repositionable adhesive out, which we will end up using given the holes in that border maker, or in that border that we're going to punch. Let's start by cutting some papers. Let me make sure I have my papers where they are supposed to be. Nope, I have my papers confused. Okay, so that's where I'm getting confused. I've got the pictures where they need to be, but the papers are in the wrong place. So, okay, so these papers are going to be on the right-hand side page. These papers are going to be on the left-hand side page. Okay, so we're going to start by cutting these papers. And let me just, I'm going to remove the photos for right now. We'll bring those back down in a minute. First thing I'm going to do is grab my 12-inch trimmer. So we're working on this page right now. And we're going to, first thing we're going to do is cut a frame in this pale blue piece. This is from the Ireland theme pack that came out early in 2023. All right, so I need to finish this series because I'm starting to lose track of what's going on and when things happen. So we want, let me just double check something here. So this triangle, or this rectangle that is in here, is 10 by 8, which means that we've got a full inch here and a full inch here, but I need a little bit for underneath it. So we're going to make that 1.5 inches just to give me plenty of room. So we're going to make a frame that's 1.5 inches, and we're going to make that go all the way around, even though this is going to go over the top of it. But we're just going to start with a frame that's 1.5 inches. So I'm going to cut from 1.5 inches to, we're going to stop our cut at 10.5 inches down here. Okay, so we're just going to work our way around, and if you are not familiar with how to make a frame, I suggest that you check out that video up there, because we make frames all the time and they help conserve paper and are a nice design feature, but I just don't have time to explain how to do it each time we make one. So let's just pause this video and jump over to the other one so that you can see how this is done, or watch the rest of this video and then do that before you create your own. That works too. Alright, so now I've got my frame. Now what I want to do is take this other full-size sheet of blue, because this piece is going to be smaller than what I want. We're going to cut this, the 10 by 8 or the 8 by 10 piece from our words. And I want to be mindful of the words and make sure nothing's going to be upside down. So we're going to cut it this way so that I can read everything either on a slant this way or on a slant this way. And we're going to, I'm going to cut this at 8 inches. No, I'm sorry, I'm going to cut this at 10 inches. we're going to cut it at 10 inches, and then we're going to come back and trim it to 8 inches. Okay, so there's 10 inches, and then we're cutting it to 8 inches. Okay, now that piece is going to go here. Now, to create the bottom portion of this, we need a punched strip, which we're going to do. We need a 1/2 inch by 12 inch strip, which is the white strip that goes here under the punched strip. And then we need enough scraps that are 1 by 3 or thereabouts that we can do all of these sort of tiles that are down here in the bottom. So let's take a look at what we've got here. I'm going to punch my border using the gold. And I want to, I've got this strip right here that's already cut that is a 1/2 inch by 12 inches and has those cute horseshoes on it. So I'm going to use this one. It's even got adhesive already in a couple of spots on the back. So we're going to use this as our 1/2 inch piece. We're going to punch this piece. So I'm going to just set it over here so it's ready to go. And then I'm just going to trim a few of these extra papers, not the gold because we don't want it to conflict, but we're just going to cut these into 1 inch by 3 inch pieces. And it's okay if you have more than one that is the same paper. So I'm going to just do a couple of each paper, and then we'll see if we need any more. So these two are both 1 inch, and I'm just going to cut those at 3. Okay. This one has a chunk out of it, so I think, oh, but we could use that as one of the 1.5 inch pieces. So we'll just set it to the side and we'll see how the pattern unfolds. Okay. This is a 2 inch wide piece, so that's going to be perfect. I can just cut it right down the middle, and then we'll have several options with this one. That'll be nice. Okay. So we can do 2 that are more green. We can flip some of one of them over, maybe. I like the blue in that one. Maybe we'll do like that. That gives us some options. This is the plaid, but we're going to use the green side. And we'll see if that's enough or if we need more. Let's see. So we've got more than enough of the plaid we could do. And then this one is not going to be, this one isn't the right direction. But we could do sideways words or stamps. So I'm just going to cut one of these. Into 3-inch pieces, and we'll see where we can fit these in for some variety. All right. Okay, so that, oh, we still need to punch, I beg your pardon. Let's punch this gold piece. And then we'll have all of our pieces good and ready to assemble for that portion. This would be for sketch number 2 of March Virtual Crop. Okay, and we're gonna, oh, this way. If you haven't never seen this before, this is the way that you can use your border maker system to punch a strip rather than punching a full sheet of paper. Your magnet then holds on to the post-it notes so that you can then come in here and punch a border. Now we're going to punch another border for the other side, so that's why I wanted to kind of punch this last. And it's looking like I didn't plan very well because this piece of gold is not a full 12 inches. So I need to grab a different paper. Hang on just a second. Alright, so this one, you can see, works just fine in the border maker cartridge or border maker system. So I don't need my little cheater sheets. And I can just come right in here and except I have a little bit of a tiny piece stuck in there. All right, so there is our border for the other side. Just put that away. Okay, so now we need, in addition to the border, we need a couple of other pieces here. So I'm going to grab these and set them over here, because they are not a part of this one. We're going to use this blue paper, the same blue paper that we are using on the left side of layout. We're going to use that on the right side layout for the base. Alright, and then we've already got our gold punched. We're going to use this piece of gradient paper that matches some of the bricks that will be in this side. And it needs to be 2 by 12, and it already is 2 by 12, so I'm not going to worry about cutting it. We're just going to be happy that we have a piece that will work for that. And then we need a piece that's 1 by 12 for this outer edge. And so we're going to use this piece of plaid that I had that was already cut. And I don't know if we'll flip it over or if we'll use the plaid side, but one or the other. And that is perfect for this portion. Now I need 2 pieces of paper that are cut 6 by 6 to go underneath the photos. We're going to use this shamrock paper, and we're going to use some of these blue words, and we need these both to measure 6 by 6, and right now they are too big. Right now they are let's see, I think they are almost 10 by 10. Yeah, they are 10 by 10. So we're going to take a couple inches off of these. If we want them to be 6 by 6, we want to, I'm going to line these up with my little flap up here, and I'm just using my finger to make sure those are at the right place, because sometimes it's difficult to see with all the lights I have going on here in my workshop. Alright, so we're going to cut those at 6. We're going to turn it, we're going to cut again at 6. So we're going to line those up on my little cheater flap up here so I know that that is 6 inches. And make sure my papers are still lined up. And those are extra, so they'll go over there. Alright, so there are my 6 by 6 pieces. Then I'm going to use this dark green to make the mats that are going to go around these photos here. So, and I'm going to do mine just a little bit differently because I'm using some peekaboo pockets. So my mats are going to be slightly different sized than we have on here. Okay, so I do have my 3.5 by 3.5 photo, so that mat will be 4 by 4, no problem. But this and this picture that is the base picture for underneath these peekaboo pockets is also 3.5 by 3.5, so we'll have 2 4 by 4 mats, and then these will go over top of that one. The base picture for this is a 4 by 6, so that one will be a 4.5. Yeah, a 4.5 by 4 by 6.5. Okay, so I need to cut a 4-inch piece. And then we're going to turn this and cut it twice for 2 mats that are 4 by 4. Just like that. This is just going to be extra. I'm going to toss it over there. And then we're going to, let's see, I think I will, no, we'll cut it this way. We're going to cut a 4.5 inch piece. And then turn that and cut it at 6.5, which I'll just pull my arm out real quick for. All right. There we go. All right, so that should be all the pieces that we need. Let's go ahead and start getting this assembled. Getting these assembled. Okay, so this one's gonna go over here. Okay, so let's work on this one. First thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and put this 8x10 piece on. So let's figure out how we want to orient this. I think we're going to go with that just because there's more going on that edge than this one. All right. And I'm going to go around the outer edge with my adhesive. I'm sure that most of you have probably already done your March virtual crop layouts, so this may be a review for you, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to line up my paper just like that so that I have an idea where the 1-inch marks are. That's going to help make it a lot easier on me when it comes to centering my 8x10 piece, because I can see the marks on my mat. Okay, so there we go, there's that. Then what we're going to do is go ahead and add, okay, let me see, I've got 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this piece right here is going to go, I'm just going to add just a little bit more adhesive just to make sure that this is going to stay where I put it. Since I've got my paper on my mat, oh, I added adhesive down that long edge, and that's why it was stuck down. I'm okay. Guys, my puppy had her space surgery earlier this week, and she has not been sleeping very well. And because she has not been sleeping very well, I have not been sleeping very well. So I apologize if I am not making as much sense as I ought to today. Okay, so I'm just going to place this right on that 3-inch line all the way across, just like so. Got some adhesive dots that are needing to be rubbed off there, so, and there as well. Come on, there we go. All right. That's done. Now we're going to take our decorative piece, border piece, and I'm going to place this on. This piece is going to go kind of usually you place it halfway across like this, but I don't know if I like that because then I can't see the horseshoes and I can't see and I sort of miss the definition in the chain. So I'm going to lay it like this, where the tip of the division between each link is at the top of my 1/2-inch piece of paper. Okay, so I can see I can still see the horseshoes, and I can see the rest of that. Okay, now from this point we need to add this to our actual page because of this void right here that we made. So I'm going to grab this is the right side of the last layout we did for Muckross House. This is going to go directly on the back. So we're going to add adhesive around the outside here. And I've already got a little bit of adhesive there, which I hadn't really realized I was not really going to need, but it'll be helpful now that we're adding this into the page. So no worries there. Right. Okay, so now we can go in and decide on these pieces. So let's take a look at how they have this designed here. They've got kind of a medium that repeats 4 times. They've got a dark one that repeats 3 times. They've got a light one that repeats 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So I think the plaid naturally represents our dark. So we're going to go with that. Let's see, this one would go approximately right there, and down here, and over here. Why reinvent the wheel if we don't have to? If they've already got it kind of sorted out, right? Right. Okay, we're going to use this one as kind of our medium shade, or actually though this one's kind of the lighter, so what if we use this green as our medium shade? There's plenty of this one, and we've got plenty of the other for our light, so we're going to go with this one as our medium. This is the back of the plaid, so that works good. So we're going to go like that and like that. I don't know if I like doubling up on that, but we'll see here. Might need to replace that. This one right here. But that's okay, I have some extra papers that are not the same color, so it'll be just fine. This one I'm going to put in the middle here. We're going to do green up there, green down here, blue over here. And then they're using these as halfway points. So we could leave that in there. There is some repetition. If we did it like that. Yeah, you can do that. Or we could add these guys. Oh no, I don't think we need to, actually I don't think we need to add in the extra colors. I think I'm just going to go with these. Alright, let's go ahead and get this put down. I'm going to use my repositionable adhesive so that if I need to, I can pull something up and realign it. We're just going to start at the lower corner. This goes flush to the edge and flush to the jeeping. And then all the other pieces build on it, edge to edge. So this will take a minute. Talk amongst yourselves. Alright, now I'm going to grab my precision point scissors and just go ahead and trim these pieces. You could cut these to 1.5 inches if you wanted, or you can just go ahead and trust yourself to place them and then come back in here and trim them off. Whichever way makes you happy works. Okay, so those are done. Alright, so this page is done without photos, but we'll be coming back to it in just a few minutes. So I'm going to just set that, we're going to set that up here with the photos. And I'm going to jump over here to this other page so that we can get it assembled. Move the photos out of the way, and we'll get back to those in just a minute. Okay, so remember, we are flipping this one. So we're going to use our powers of deduction. I know that may seem weird, but we're going to work from the outside in. So let's first of all decide which way we want this to be. So it's going to be like so, with our punched border over the top. And then we've got our squares and our mats. So, are we going to use the plaid, or are we going to flip it and use the green? I kind of like the green. I thought I was going to like the blue and the plaid, but I think I'm kind of liking the green better. Okay, let's go with the green. Okay, so I'm going to start with the green, and we're going to go ahead and get this put right on the edge. Okay. Then we're going to take this 2" by 12" piece, and it's going to go right up against the 1 by 12, edge to edge. And then we're going to, oh, I didn't need to flip that over. Do you do that? I think I've asked you all that before, but I'm forever flipping cardstock to add adhesive, which is silly because it's the same color on both sides. So anyways, all right, I'm going to do the same thing in the way that I place this, the same thing I did on the other page. We're going to make it so that the points in between each link hit the top of the 1" piece, or the green, so that this right hand edge of the chain link is going right along the edge of the green. Just takes a little bit of precision in laying it down to make that happen. There we go. I just think it looks nicer that way. Pardon me, I've got adhesive stuck to my mat, so we'll just rub it off real quick. Okay, Then we're going to come in here and place our 6-inch pieces. Again, I'm going to use some repositionable adhesive because I may want to play with this just a little. Okay, so keeping in mind I want my words to be readable. This one's going to lean towards the center. This one's going to be underneath and leaning more back towards the border on the outside. 1/4 inch from the top, and it's got to be about 1/2 inch or so away from the border here. Maybe a little bit more than 1/2 inch, but that'll work right there, I think. And then this one is probably 3/8 of an inch, 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch from the center, and about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. It's about like that. All right. All right, so let's get my pictures, and we'll get started with the pictures for this side. And I'm just going to tuck this guy up and underneath there so that he's a little out of the way. We're going to grab the photos. We've got this one that's going to stand on its own. With the mat. So I know I didn't tell you before, but these photos are of the Torc Waterfall. So the Torc Waterfall sits inside of Killarney National Park, and this was our last stop on our horse buggy tour. And just trying to take a look at how this is laid out here. So we've got, those are actually kind of close together. Okay, and then this one is in line with the left hand. Whoa, we're moving furniture upstairs, can you tell? Okay, so this picture needs to go with my 4x6, my 4.5 by 6.5 mat. And once we have all of these photos matted, we can go ahead and adhere the mats to the layout, and that will give us a lot of indicators about where we're going to add the peekaboo pockets. Okay, so I'm going to give that just a little more space in between. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to leave that, well, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to move these so that this is my standalone photo, and this is my, okay. So the reason I did that, the reason I moved those around is because I have vertical peekaboo pockets that are going to go here, and they are going to, in the layout they overlap. You can see these photos overlap, but I can't have them overlap a lot because I have other peekaboo pockets that are going to go on here. So they are going to overlap just a little, and I'll show you how I'm going to manage that. when I get there. Okay, so we're going to put that guy there, and he's placed at roughly 1.5 inches from the top. I'm actually arranging my peekaboo pockets in a little bit of a different fashion, so let me show you what I decided to do to kind of resolve the fact that these are designed this way. Okay, right, I'm going to put that over there. Okay, so I have this one that's going to be on top. I'm going to remove the cellophane from the back. The cellophane. Whew, these little cellophane strips drive me nuts. How about you? They just always want to stick to my fingers. Okay, I'm going to adhere this to the base of the peekaboo pocket that is underneath it. And line it up the best I can, try to make it as perfect as possible. Okay, so then this will open, and here's my next one. Okay, and then this peekaboo pocket is going to go down. Oops, I should not have done that, because now I need this to be on a page protector, under a page protector. All right, we're gonna try and stick this back on here. Because I do not have my page protector on here just yet. All right, so this one is gonna go here, like so. These I'm going to get off. Okay, this one's going to adhere to the right hand side of the peekaboo pocket underneath it. So I apologize if my head is in the way, but sometimes I just have to be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so this peekaboo pocket opens this way, and then the next one will open the opposite way. Okay, so this one will open this way. So this will open this way, then we'll open it this way, and this piece will be the piece that is attached to the bottom of the page, or to the page protector, and it will open up like this. All right, so that will work, because that will be fine. All right, so let me get this cellophane in the trash. Okay, so that page will work just like that. What I might want to do though is lower this photo down so that it creates a little more of a triangle with my other papers and things. Since that's going to be there, we could just put this guy kind of right there, and I think that would be a little bit nicer to have it kind of a little more pulled in. For that matter, I could just adjust the whole thing kind of down and over, and it might look better. Well, okay, we'll get back to that in just a minute. I'm going to set it to the side over here. Let's put our photos on the other page. And then we'll get this page also put into our or onto a page. Okay, so I've got this cute picture of Haley that's going to go right in the middle, and then I have a couple of other pictures that are going to flop different directions. Okay, so first thing I want to do is center Haley. So I'm going to place my page on my mat so that I can see where the middle is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that line right there is the center. And that way I can center her on the blue field from the top of my border to the top of the blue field, and then center her, center the photo. Can you hear Maggie? She's outside on the patio. She's fenced in because she's still wearing her cone of shame and she can't be let loose in the backyard, so she's a little frustrated, bless her heart. All right, so now we're going to put down these other base photos. This area was so lush and green and beautiful. It had a stream that flowed underneath a little brick bridge. It was just very serene and peaceful, pretty. All right. So the original sketch has each of these 3 photos being 3.5 by 5.5, so that they are all even. But because I'm using peekaboo pockets, I had to keep, or I wanted to keep the base photos the same size as the peekaboo pockets. This one of my husband will flip this way so we can see my cousin, and this one of the group of my husband, myself, Mom, Kelly, and my oldest Heidi will flip up like this to see more of the forest. Just kind of in a fun interactive way of putting my photos on there. All right, so we need to do some embellishing, but let's get this page put on its actual scrapbook page and make sure that these photos are where we want them. I'm really thinking I want to adjust them down a little. And maybe it's just this one that needs to be adjusted down a little because this one is covered up by the photo. So I think really it's just the 4x6 that needs to move. Okay. So hinges are in the middle because this is the right hand side of the layout. There we go. All right, let me just, whoa. I'm just throwing things around today. We're gonna shift this down just a little. Hope that it doesn't. Oh, good. Okay. We're going to do about a 1/2 inch from the bottom go on top. And then this one has a little more room to come down and not be so close. And this one, let's see, where are we going to want to put our embellishments? So they've got an embellishment kind of right in the middle, but sort of leaning slightly towards that towards the 1/3 line, or the 2/3 line, but 1/3 is where I would put it, kind of out here. And then they've got one up here and one down here. So if I move this down a little, we can use this area for journaling, which would be a good idea. They've got journaling up here, so we could journal up there, or we could just leave all the journaling in one spot since this is all the same event. And then and they've got just the journaling on the background paper, but I could do it on both if I need to. I think I'm going to leave it where it is. Then I can put something here, and I can put something out here, and something over here. Okay, so let's figure out what we want to add. Hold that thought. All right, I don't know why, but Maggie is just like barking up a storm in the backyard. And so this is going to be interesting how this comes together, but because I'm totally distracted, so I apologize. We're going to use, so these are from Totally Tonal Kelly Green, and we're going to use this Life is Beautiful, and going to use this cute little arrow-ish thing, and we're going to add the Life is Beautiful sticker on top of it. If I can get it to let go of my fingers. It's a little bit crooked, and that's going to bug me, but I can't pick it up now. Okay, so we're going to kind of put that at a fun little jaunty angle. Say Life is Beautiful. I'm not going to push it all the way down because I want to add some flowers. So let's add in a couple of these. These are from oh, it just flew out of my head. This is a retired collection, so not around anymore if you don't already have them, but a fun one for adding spots of color. And that's kind of just what I wanted. It's just a little bit of color added in there. Then I'm going to use these letters here that say smile, and we're going to start by adding the center one. So the I is going to go right in the middle of the 2/3 or the 1/3 line that I mentioned before. I'm going to put the I right on that line, and then we're going to add the other letters around it. These are from the 2021 National Scrapbook Day collection, the one that had the shamrocks. This paper is from that collection also. So we're going to say smile. Then we're going to add some flowers to that as well. I'm actually thinking that that would look nice, or would have looked nice if we'd put it right underneath. But I think let's see. I'm going to pick up this S and lay it down on top of that flower. And then we can do the same thing with the E over here. And I need something else for up here. So, and actually I want some more color over this way. So I think what we'll do is add that yellow flower on top, because I want to see more yellow, more golden colors than that purple, and that kind of diffuses the purple around that flower nicely. Okay, and then we could just add kind of that bouquet right up in there. We should anchor it with something though, probably. So let's see. What could we use? This guy. To bring it down from the edge because I added that sticker over the top. That's okay. That kind of gives me flowers in both places, although I think I still want a little more down here. So if we add this guy underneath, picked up my brick, my paper brick. Yeah, I like that better because that draws the gold, kind of the yellow all across. Nice. Okay. I think we're going to go with that. Then I can still do my journaling right here. And yeah, that'll work. We'll add some tabs to these so that people know, the people looking at it will know which way to pull the peekaboo pockets to see all of the fun surprises on that page. And yeah, all will be well. Let me know what you think. It's sometimes fun to rotate and shift things around, and although it does get a little tedious, you kind of have to roll with it and try different things until you have what you like. worked out, but I think these turned out super cute, and I'm really excited about these layouts. So we're done with Killarney National Park, and after this we're going to lunch in a really super cute little cafe style restaurant that has a lot of history to it. So I hope you'll tune into the next video. And if you haven't already signed up for the next sketch challenge, and we're doing that again in May. So registration is open and the details are in the description of the video. Thanks so much for joining me today. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Enjoy your day.